Welcome to the Plaster Podcast. Today's conversation will be with Sandman 10P. Charles has been a friend of mine for a few years now, training at 10th Planet Los Angeles HQ. He's most well known for his YouTube channel, The Tap Out Challenge. Me and him got together a few years ago and started doing this series, and it's great to catch up and share a story with you. I hope you enjoy it. You came into Jiu-Jitsu world, you fell in love with it, and at what point did you want to make content? So, like, you want to tell me how you got into Jiu-Jitsu first?
Yeah, sure. A buddy of mine who knew me from back in the day, I used to hang around Venice a lot, running around. It was like a little knucklehead or whatever. He was a manager at a skate shop or something on the boardwalk. I can't remember, but we used to have a little workout group where we would run up and down the beach and do like these Navy SEAL workouts and shit. This like Navy SEAL dude was like leading a bunch of us into these workouts, and that's how I knew him. And he knew who I was in the community, so I kind of had like a little reputation to be like a fighter, knucklehead, just kind of like not a problem starter, but I was a problem finisher. Like if there was a problem, like I was in it. Knowing that, he's like, oh, maybe jujitsu would be good for you because like it's good for people who have a lot of rage and stuff like that. It'll help you like control it. And I was like, okay. So we went out to a class at a school called Magno Almeida. No, there was a purple belt guy there named Jeff who was doing once a week free classes on Sundays. And like every class, like every single Sunday, it was like all I ever thought about that whole month. Like I was like, fuck, like it's Wednesday. I gotta get to that Sunday so we can go to that jujitsu class. Like that shit's hella fun. And yeah, I went through that for like a month. And then I was like, well, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Like it's time to sign up. Like I'm probably just gonna do this for real. And I started looking into schools, and I over research everything. I always over research. So I went down like a rabbit hole of like what the best schools are, like the history of jujitsu, like how everything went down. And for whatever reason, I just landed on 10th Planet. And I initially saw like Eddie in 10th Planet, and that's what I was like, oh, okay, 10th Planet, cool. We'll go learn from Eddie Bravo. Like, let's go learn the Twister, and let's go do Rubber Guard, stuff like that. That's what I was thinking. The closest 10th Planet to me was 10th Planet West LA with Scott Epstein. So I did end up training there for about 18 months. I got like the core of my white belt skills from there. And then for whatever reason, I ended up moving, and I couldn't drive all the way there anymore. So I started looking at other gyms, and I'm like, oh, you know what? If I'm gonna be driving anyway, I might as well go to HQ. This was 2020. I started training at HQ as a white belt. So I had already been training for a year and a half almost. So I was a little bit behind as a white belt. Like I trained consistently every day for like 4 hours a day as a white belt. Every day. So to be 18 months in training like 4 hours a day, like every day, it's like damn. When I came to HQ, I was already kind of like probably should have been a blue belt, maybe. You know what I mean? Like could have easily been a blue belt. And Eddie kind of saw that, so he was like, "Oh, okay." I asked him, I was like, "Can I come to your class? Can I learn the warm ups and start participating in this class?" Because back then it was tough. Like now, it's like anybody can go to Eddie's class. I feel like not really, but back then it was like Scott Ross and Marvin and different black belts would come up to you and be like, "What do you know? Like, you know the warm ups? What warm up day is it? Well, let me see F1 then." If you can't do F1, they tell you to get the fuck out of the class. So it's like, damn. And I had like special permission from Eddie. So I feel like there was a while where everyone in the class was like, who the fuck is this white belt? Like just coming into class. Who does he think he is? You know what I mean? I was going to say you were always in those classes, Eddie's classes. So there was like an 8 month period where I wasn't going to Eddie's classes. I was going to all the other fundamentals and advanced classes and just kind of getting to know the school more, getting to know the system, getting to know myself and where I fall and all of that. And yeah.
What was your impression of the warm up system when you first learned it, or when you first got into it? How did you feel about it?
I loved it because that's how I've always learned it, is like Eddie always asks me how I learned the warm ups, and a lot of other people just can't. And my reasoning is because the reason I really genuinely think that I can learn them is because just the way that it's set up to learn. It's just how my brain works, you know, like as far as like piano stuff, there's some people that think I know how to play piano, but I really don't. I just watch YouTube videos. I see exactly what they do and I just replicate it. I'm like, okay, the left hand's doing this, master that. The right hand's doing this, master that. Okay, the foot comes in on the pedal at this point, master that. And then at the end of it, I'm just kind of like regurgitating like shit that I saw. That's it, you know? Whereas some people need to know the music, they want to know the notes, they need to really understand it, and that takes years of learning to get right. So the warm ups is very visual. Let me show you. Boom. Now let me show you again. Okay. Now let me show you again. Okay. Now you're just gonna keep seeing it, and you're gonna keep trying it and keep doing it until one day it's gonna click for you. But if you're a visual learner, it's gonna click way faster than like, it's gonna click for everyone else. So for me, it's kind of a no brainer. I'm like, all right, what's the first half of this first warm up? Okay, master that. And then once I get it, I get this sense of like a completed puzzle. Like when you put a puzzle piece in and you get that satisfying like, oh yeah, it fits here. Boom. That's how I feel every time I learn a move in a warm up. So it's like it just continues on to now. It's like, all right, I get that same feeling when Eddie calls on me to show the warm ups. And he's like, okay, Charles, Logan, let's go. Boom. And he already knows I know it. He's like, boom, he's gonna do it. And then bam, I did it and it's over and I just did it. And I'm like, yo, there you go. Boom. I did it.
How long did it take you of consistent learning of the warm-ups to catch on? Because there's even black belts in the system that are like, no, that's too complicated for my white belts or for themselves or whatever to learn the choreography. So how long did that take of consistent learning?
Like you said, there's black belts. There's people who've been training in HQ for 10 years that still don't really have the warm ups. And what I would say about that is you're just not trying. Like if you want to learn the warm ups, you can learn them in 6 months. I had them, like, I'm not gonna say I had them mastered in 6 months. Definitely not. It took me about 2 years to really get them. And even now I see things where I'm like, it's a quick transition. I'm like, oh, that one little detail he never actually spoke about before, but I wasn't aware of it, but now I am. Things like that happen.
That happens a lot.
That
That
does
happens a
happen.
lot. Where like even now, like my whole game is around the quarter guard, quarter shell, dogfight, like the whole E warm ups. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
even still, there are these little details. I'm like, oh damn, I didn't switch my ankles at that point, and
Dude,
that makes a
yes.
huge, and all these little details do matter. Um, but
That
yeah,
just
it's
happened to me with quarter guard too. Just realizing which, like you said, switching ankles, like realizing which ankle is on top is going to allow me to play different games in quarter guard. Like if I want to come up for dogfight, my top my top ankle needs to be over so that way I can never let go of that foot as I'm coming up, right? But it's like Eddie's not gonna really take the time to stop and explain every single little detail in the warm ups. He's letting all the visual learners kind of get the reps of it, and then he focuses in on one part of it during classes. He's like, oh, if he notices something like everybody's fucking this part up, let me explain this because you guys are fucking this up. Boom, and then he'll go in on it, and that's really the whole beauty of the warm-ups. I think is like if you learn the skeleton of it, which is the warm-ups by themselves, because the warm-ups is everything if you know them correctly. But if you learn them the way that we're teaching them, which is pretty much just kind of like, oh, going through the motions, just do it, do reps, 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 eventually you'll get to the point where you have like the skeleton of it, and you're just kind of adding more and more onto it, and then eventually you're gonna just have it perfect. It doesn't happen overnight though.
so you came to HQ, you're getting in tight with the crew, and you're learning the intricacies of the system. At what point are you thinking, like, what were the first videos that you saw that you were like, oh, I like this jujitsu content? Uh, what did you gravitate to at first?
So basically, I started coming to Eddie's class, right? And the first step in us, me and you, making videos, I think the first step in that would have to be me seeing that everyone's hanging out after class. And I'm seeing people hanging out, and I'm thinking, okay, this is the cool kids group. Like, maybe I need to be invited to this or something. But no, I just like took my shower, sat down at the seats, and just kind of hung out, watched everything go down, passing me the joint.
Man, keep clapping, keep clapping. There you go. Here for Blaster. Blaster band, show us your gratitude. Let's see you. Hurrah. Show us some hurrah. Hurrah. Gratitude and attitude for the Blaster.
Gratitude and attitude.
You're gonna send me all that, right? Dude, how many fucking people are in this goddamn van?
But you know where I get a lot of my practice is after class. After class, one of my students has a van, like a van with where he films podcasts in his van. He has a giant van. He's got cameras all over the place, and we go in his van after class, like almost every night when he's there. And we just sit there for about 45 minutes and we bullshit. And a lot of material comes from that van.
I bet. Yeah, that's cool. Man, you're
So
gonna be responsible for just a slew of terrible jujitsu black belt comedians hitting the stage now thinking they can do it.
I got a couple of students that are already trying it.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna try some stand-up.
We're gonna start some 10th Planet comedy tours.
There was the Van podcast was going on at the time. I got invited into the van. I was like, oh, this is cool. So I felt like one of the cool kids, I was like, oh, these are my friends. All right, I'm not going anywhere, And at that point, I'm like, all right, this is what I'm doing. Like when I commit to something, I can see 10 years down the line a lot of the times, like when I was a white belt, if I could, I bought a white belt, blue belt, purple belt, and a brown belt rashi all at the same day when I was a white belt. And if I could have, I would have bought a black belt one too, but I couldn't. This is not allowed. But I was a white belt, and I'm now a purple belt, and I have my brown belt rash guard in the closet, and I've had it for 5 years. So I knew what was going to happen. I knew I wasn't going anywhere. And yeah, so from that point on, you start thinking, how do I make money on jiu-jitsu? Because if I'm not making money on jiu-jitsu, I'm going to be having to make money 40 hours a week somewhere else. And it's going to take a lot of my energy and focus away from what I love doing now, which is jiu-jitsu. That's just that journey, that blue belt grind of like, how do I get to purple? How do I get into teaching a kids class? How do I get into like training at more schools so they know who I am? So if they need instructors, they can, pull me in, or whatever it is. How do I get privates? Like, it's always trying to figure out how you can monetize what you love to do. Midway through that journey, I had the idea for the $100 to tap me out long before we shot it. Like, I remember asking you about it when I was a blue belt, and you said the same thing you said at the end, which was, "Oh, I'll shoot it. Let's do it." Yeah, I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let's go do it." And I was like, "Okay," but we didn't do it. I just kind of, procrastinated or whatever. I don't know. It just went under the radar. That was 2 years before we ever even started doing YouTube.
That's the war of art right there. Procrastination and, trying to get the art moving, the creative juices flowing. That's sometimes the hardest part.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy too, because like when it comes to like confidence, a lot of the times I'm not like I know, like I know, because I see what works and I see what doesn't work, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I know if I did this, it probably wouldn't work. And guess what? I don't care. I'll still do it because I want to do it. Right. So like I can see past like, oh, I need to make content that people are gonna like. How do I make something? It was like, no, I want to make content that I think is cool. And that idea was so cool to me that it resonated and stuck with me for 2 years before I even knew I could do it. Like
there are projects, I don't know if you heard like actors in Hollywood, they say like, I do one for me, I do one for them. And it's kind of that way with YouTube now, and just creation in general is like, if you're spending 40 hours a week creating, as a job where you sit down at a desk and you figure this out, whether it's flowing or not. You end up making content that's for you, and that's just for your cult following. And then you end up making content that's for a broader audience, that's a catch-all, so that you can find those cult inside that larger audience. But it's always that balance between, do I do this for me, which is my cult, or do I do it for everyone else?
For sure, man.
What is the first content that you were seeing in jiu-jitsu that kind of inspired you and thought, oh, you know what, I could either you could do it or that you were attracted to?
This was like the initial video I saw 2 years ago that made me think like, oh, I could translate that into jiu-jitsu and that would be a fucking killer video. Like, oh yeah. And it was this dude on YouTube. He was in Austin.
You know the game Clash Royale?
Yeah?
Why are Americans so bad at it?
Why?
They already lost 2 towers.
Make me laugh.
I can do anything.
Yeah?
But basically what he was doing, he's a comedian, and he would sit on 6th Street with his little chair and his camera gear, and he would get people to tell him a joke. And if they could make him laugh, he would give them money. So make me laugh, win $100. And then sometimes he would do like special episodes where he would do like a ladder system where like, oh, okay, the first person is $2 to make me laugh, and the next person is $10, and then we're gonna keep multiplying it until we get up to 1,000 or something like that, right? So that was kind of a cool concept, and I thought like, wow, like this thing has 1 million views in a couple weeks. Like, people like people. That's what I realized watching that video. I'm like, whoa, okay, people just want to see how other people, like, they want to relate to other people. People want to relate. That's all it is. It's just understanding, So that was the first video. I saw that, and it kind of paved the way for me to think in this like mind frame of interaction content, right? So the second video was about a year. It came out about a year after I had the idea. And I remember thinking when it came out, like, oh, damn, there goes my idea. Like, shit, I guess I can't do it now. But not even realizing it was something completely different, and that was Tommy G's takedown challenge.
Tell the people what they're going to see today. What they're going to see today, what? You taking down a whole bunch of people for the free?
And I was like, damn, this is exactly what I was thinking of for my challenge, except for $100, this fool did it for $1,000. I was like, damn. And I remember seeing that and thinking like, it can't be done better than that. Like, it just can't be done better than that. This fool pulled out $1,000. He had like a 7-foot giant at the beach that day. Like, and he just whooped everybody. I was like, okay, he did it. And then I thought about it. I was like, no, I can still do my jiu-jitsu portion. Like, I can do a jiu-jitsu challenge. It doesn't have to be a takedown challenge. It does, because that's what I was initially thinking was takedown. And then he did that, and I was like, damn, all right, well, there's really nothing I could do with that. A year passes. I'm holding on to this like $100 to tap me out thing. And I think who put out a video that did super well on 10th Planet that was like kind of gimmicky. I think it was Brandon McCaffrey. Yeah. He had that video that what did he do? It was like he had a bunch of envelopes. Analytics thought it was really awesome.
30 rounds straight.
Yeah, 30 rounds straight. And I learned a lot from watching that.
I'm 10th Planet Black Belt Brandon McCaffrey, and I'm about to roll back to back with every one of my students. For every student that taps me, they're gonna get a chance at an envelope that has up to $1,000 in it. Let's do it.
And he went with, was it 30 of his students back to back? And any of them that could tap him out got to pick an envelope or got to pick a piece of paper out of a hat, and it had a number on it that corresponded with or correlated with an envelope that had a prize that could have been anything from a custom made song from Brandon down to like $1,000 in cash, because, if you look at his other videos surrounding that video, like if you go to his video timeline, right, and you see that thumbnail, and then you look at the ones immediately left and immediately right of it, they're nowhere near the views that one has. And so I learned a lot from that, because I'm like, oh, okay, you don't have to already be somebody to have a good idea that pops. Like, I genuinely thought back then that if you had a good idea but you were nobody, it didn't matter, because you're not going to get the eyeballs that you need anyway. But seeing that video, I was like, whoa, okay. The algorithm recognizes good content. Like, this was a good idea. 30 rounds straight, $1,000. Like, there's a lot of SEO in that. There's a lot of like not bad clickbait, but good clickbait in that, right? Like, there's a lot of great clickbait. You're like, oh, okay. And that's kind of part of my journey too, is like, all right, $1,000 to tap me out, $100 to tap me out, or $1,000 to tap out this chick. Where you're like, look, to me, I know that's impossible. Like, I know you're not going to get her. Like, it doesn't seem like, to somebody who's a jiu-jitsu guy, you're like, that's not that big of a deal. But if you're just a passersby and you're reading, $1,000 tap out challenge against a girl, you're like, what? Let me see that. Like, grown ass men, you mean? Like, let me see that. I don't believe that. Because there's some men that just don't know. They don't know that jiu-jitsu is what it is. And in their minds, a woman could never be stronger than a man. So, and when you see that, it's a little bit educational when you say
the destruction of the ego is just so entertaining.
Yeah, I would say those 3 videos had a lot of influence on me making that video. I was talking to somebody the other day about the ego part, because they talk a lot about ego death in jiu-jitsu, and I don't genuinely think that it's ego death. I think it's more of, it's like a roller coaster, right? When you first come in, your ego is in survival mode, and you're just kind of like, I'm a human being. Don't mess with me. I'll beat you up even though I'm scared of you. My knees are shaking. Please don't hurt me. It's like you're in this weird fucking ego spot where you're like, it's like a dog barking or something. You're like, you have to bark. It's like, you ever seen a dog that was so confident and so strong and so gnarly and smart and well behaved that he didn't have to bark? He just sat down and looked at you, and you're like, yo, that dog will fuck you up. Like, don't fuck with that dog, bro. Holy shit. And that's pretty much what jiu-jitsu is, right? Like, it's you coming in, and that first step is getting rid of your bark. Because you're like, hey, there's a bunch of dogs in here that'll tear your ass up, right? You're like, damn. It's like a house dog being thrown into like a dog park for the first time in its life, It's like, damn, I can't bark at people in here because they'll fuck me up. Shit. Okay. So it's not like an ego death, but it's more of like a ego reshaping. It's like, oh shit. Because then when you're a blue belt, like, blue belts' egos are out of control sometimes. Like, there's a lot of blue belts who genuinely think they're the shit. It's like they rebuild their ego as like, okay, you get crushed when you first come in, and then you rebuild as like a blue belt, right? And then somewhere right around as you're about to become purple, or when you become purple, you realize the level change. You're like, oh wait, purple and blacks are all together? Fuck. Damn, like, I'm supposed to be as good as a black belt at this point? Fuck. Like, you know what I mean? And then you kind of go through that damn I ain't shit again phase. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's ego in jiu-jitsu is very weird, man.
Yeah, it's like like you said, it's a reshaping of expectations of yourself. And then also, going through, say it takes a person average 10 years to get their black belt, you're going to go through life. You're going to go through tragedy. You're going to get hurt, and physically, mentally, emotionally. You're going to have to learn how to use the training that you get on the mat in life. And like, it's just, if you don't translate it, then you quit or you get driven away. I mean, I've seen it so many times where, even in our own gym, someone goes through a breakup and then just disappears, and
yeah,
I'm like,
man.
oh, man. Like, that didn't have to happen, but it happens.
No. Yeah. And man, I get it, bro. I get it, because it's like, you say like you shouldn't do it, and like I have like a rule where I'm like, oh, okay, I won't date anybody from the gym. But then I fucked around and did it. Not from our gym, but like from a sister gym of ours, and it exactly what you would think. That's exactly what happens. It's like, how many times do you need to see the same thing happen before you understand that that's what happens? It's like, bro.
But what was interesting though is there are people that actually have super successful relationships that
True.
come out of that. So it's like you better.
That's why you keep trying, right? That's why you're like, damn.
If you're gonna roll the dice, man, you gotta make sure that you like we're gonna try to make this work. I'm not playing around.
Yeah.
But I feel that way about life in general now. I'm in my mid-30s, and I'm like, whatever I do, it's gonna be a roll of the dice. It's gonna be an educated guess, but I'm gonna work damn hard to make sure it works. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think there's like this weird toxic trait in humans right now of like being attracted to people that aren't attracted or that aren't attractive. Like basically what I mean is like people who have shitty morals and values, you like them more, and then you complain about them. But the people who actually would hold you down and people who actually are all about you, it's like unattractive. You're like, get out of my face. Like
that's some propaganda from society.
That whatever they're doing, it's working, because I noticed it in my own self. I'm like, damn, the girl that I really want is like, you know, she's like, I don't want to call her a hoe, you know what I mean? Because she's not, but you know, by the 50 standards, oh my Lord, they would be out here dragging her. You know what I mean? Like she's not good. But then like I said, you got these other chicks who are all about you and are down, ready to hold you down, ready to give you their fucking life savings and pension and shit. But you just can't fake the funk with them because you don't feel it. They're too easy, or I don't know what the fuck it is.
Hey man, we're all attracted to who we're attracted to, and you gotta find the right balance. I get it.
We're all
we're fucked.
Let me rewind about 5 days before that. So you know, I used to work at a nonprofit. I was a case manager working with like homeless kids and stuff. I worked there for like 5 years. I realized that it was going in a very, very bad place, meaning like the money was getting mixed up, the leadership was getting mixed up, a lot of the programming was getting just torn apart, and financially it was like, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't like it. I got to get the hell out of here. So I was already pretty unhappy with that. I got into it with my boss, cussed her out, and I left, and I was jobless, you know, with my own car, my own rent, my own bills, all my own shit. So now here I am jobless. And I just went through a breakup maybe a day before that, found out my girlfriend was cheating on me. And now I'm going through a breakup, and I didn't really take that well, you know, so I'm like at an all-time low spot now. I'm like blue belt. I don't know. Was I purple at the time? No, I think I just got my purple, actually. Yeah, I just got my purple. So that was great, but I'm like going through a breakup and it's hitting me hard. I'm like breaking up with my job because I worked there for 5 years, but it's deeper than that. Like I actually was homeless back in the day too. I got services at that place when I was homeless. Like I saw it when they opened that place. So to see it degrade and go down like that, it's just like, damn, you know, it sucked. It was hitting me hard. Then out of nowhere, here I am now. Like I got nothing. Nothing, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. A friend of mine who is already a YouTuber, his name is Toke, or Potlord on YouTube. He was on like No Jumper podcast back in the day. They started their own podcast. He's doing like clothing stuff. He's like a well-known live streamer.
It reminds me of like, you ever seen improv?
Yeah,
it's like improv because like
it's
the
like
first
wilding
nigga,
out.
But look, the first nigga got 4 bars, right? And then the second nigga always gonna like go back to them 4 bars and be like, let me respond to that. Like they having a conversation back and forth through the bars. You know what I'm saying? Like the nigga talk about a college hose and he talk about
That's why he said, I don't touch niggas drink, nigga. I don't know.
You the last nigga I seen with it, nigga. Where it go?
Look up in the freezer.
Oh, I see it. There it go. Exactly.
Very good friend of mine from back in the day. I tell him what's going on with me. He's like, bro, come hang out. Like, what are you doing? Like, we live 10 minutes from each other. Like, what are you doing? Come over to the house. So he's telling me, he's like, bro, you got to come over, man. Like, you know, forget that girl, forget that job. He's like, it's time for you to start doing YouTube content. And you know, because he's been telling me for years. He's always been telling me, like, dude, the shit that we do on YouTube, you could easily do it he's like, you could do it too, because it's really just like, you know, who you are and where you live, what you do. He's like, all the things that you do is things that could be documented and recorded. He's like, people want to see that. They want to live vicariously. And I was like, okay. I went over to his crib. Not only did he show me how to live stream, did he show me like how to interact with people on stream, and it really set me up for success. I actually met a girl there that same day, like a girl that I still talk to this day. She's not my girlfriend, but like she helped get me out of a rut, you know. And I genuinely don't think I would have been doing the YouTube thing for real if it hadn't been for her, you know, because she's like a hustler, bro. She's like a straight up hustler in a country where hustling is not really a thing. Like, she's from Germany, and like in Germany, everyone makes $70,000 a year. There's no hustlers. Everyone just works. You know what I mean? Like, why would you need to hustle? All your shit's paid for. You know, you don't even need a partner. You just take care of your shit. You'll be fine. But she is like, nah, I'm trying to get millions. Fuck that, you know? So she's like, I want to go to America. Fuck Germany. Like, these motherfuckers on some chill bullshit. Like, I'm trying to go up. And so now this is my girlfriend. So like I lost my job and I lost my girlfriend, and I got a better job and a better girlfriend. But yeah, that first week streaming, it's exactly what you would imagine. Like, you know, my expectations were laid out to me like this. You're going to have 1 to 2 viewers for a year. So get comfortable. Get comfortable just streaming to nobody. That was my game plan, bro. Like, that's what I was told to do. Like, they were like, yo, bro, look, it may look like nothing right now. You may not have shit right now, bro, but trust me, the fans love you. They're all gonna subscribe to you. All the fans that I have, this is what Kenny's telling me. All the fans that I have are eventually gonna subscribe to you. So you at least could look forward to that, you know? But you're gonna have a long time where you're not gonna be having any viewers, you're not gonna have any participation, you're not gonna make any money. He's like, and you still gotta stream through all of that shit. So just be ready. And that's what I did for like 7 days. I streamed maybe 3 or 4 times.
A whole 7 days.
Whole 7 days. For 7 days, bro. I swear to God. I was like promoting it on Instagram. I had 22 subscribers at the end of that 7 days. You know, my few Instagram friends who actually gave a fuck enough to go subscribe. I think you were one of them. 22 subscribers, man. I'll never forget. Then I was like, oh, I should make an actual video. I should make like a video. I was like, what if I made some jujitsu content? I was like, I do jujitsu. I am a purple belt. I mean, I could make, in theory, I could make some jujitsu content. It wouldn't hurt anybody, right? I made like a repost of my purple belt promotion ceremony. Nothing. It didn't really do anything. It did better than, you know, not having anything there. It was 100% liked by like 2 people or 3 people or something. So I was like, okay, you know, got 100 views. We're in there. We're doing something. Like, we got a foot in the door. You know what I mean? Like, we just got to keep making stuff. And at the time, I'm consuming a lot of like Mr. Beast content where he's telling me like, you're not going to get any views. You're going to have to keep grinding anyway. Trusting in what you're doing. Just keep fucking doing it. Okay. The very next video was the dun dun dun, the banger, the big one, the big boy, the one that we did in Venice. And it happened like this. I was talking to my girlfriend, sitting right here at this desk, right here. And she was telling me some shit like, what's the first step type shit. Because I've had this talk with people before. It's funny because now here she is having it with me. And she's like, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? Like, what's the first step? Like, go do it. And I'm like, damn, you're right. So I got off the phone with her, immediately called you. Like, no texting, no Instagramming. Let me call this motherfucker. Called you, put you on speaker, just right here at my desk. And I'm like, so I said to you what I'd already said to you twice. I want to shoot this $100 to tap me out video. I think it'd be a good idea. And you said the same thing you always say. Oh yeah, I think that's a great idea. I'll shoot it. Let's do it. And then I feel like I caught you off guard a little bit, because then I hit you with the, okay, when? And you're like, oh, I mean, I don't know. I'm like, I guess I got some availability on Friday. I'm like, Friday, what time? You're like,
Yes.
I mean, I guess I have to do something at this time, but I mean, we could squeeze maybe at 11. I'm like, all right, I'll see you Venice Beach and Muscle Beach, 11 a.m. Friday. You're like, all right, boom. Hung up the phone.
That is where the juice is right there. You're making a declaration of a time and place and what's going to happen, and that's where your intention's going right there. Boom.
If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be in it. Like, it would have never happened if that didn't happen, that moment. Just to double down and make sure that it happens, I recorded a little video on this little camera right here, where pretty much I was just, because like in my first video, a lot of people in the comments are like, "Oh, this is staged. This is staged, man. This is fake, bro. No fucking way. This is real." Like da 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 da. This guy's just walking around with a rash guard on. Like my first opponent, it's like, that guy's just walking around with a rash guard on. This is so fake. I'm like, okay, it's not fake. It's not staged. But you're right. This guy did know that we were going to be doing that challenge, because what a lot of people don't know is on the first challenge, I had no idea what we were doing. I didn't know that it was going to be what it was. You know what I mean? I thought a bunch of jiu-jitsu guys, because a lot of guys talk shit about, 10th Planet, talk shit about Eddie. There's people talk shit about me. You know what I mean? Like I was nobody at the time. So it's like, you talking shit about me. I'm like, wow, all right. The only place that people knew me from was the low level competition scene. It's like, all right, I'm in like EBI competitions, not like EBI Invitational, but like EBI rule set, like local tournaments and stuff, submission only tournaments. And here we are, right? And I'm like, okay, how do I get people to show up to this? How do I make sure people are going to show up to this? I made a video.
Yo, what's up, guys? Look, I'm doing a public challenge on Friday in Venice Beach, $100 to tap me out. You heard me right, $100 to tap me out. You don't have to put anything up. There's no risk to you at all. If you think you can tap me out, come on down to Venice Beach on Friday. We're going to find out. See you there.
So yeah, that dude was a blue belt. He showed up because he saw that video and he knows who I am. He started doing jiu-jitsu because of me. Like I'm the one, and when I was a white belt, I'm the one that was trying to push him into it. I was pushing all my friends, start training, right? So, when people see that video, they say, "Oh, it's staged." No, it's not staged. I just made an announcement before I went out there because I didn't know who was going to be showing up, if I did that now, do you know how many fucking like crazy black belts and jiu-jitsu motherfuckers would show up? Holy shit. You know what I mean?
That'd be awesome.
It would be awesome for the video. I'm actually going out there and just randomly letting people have a try, bro. You never know who's out there.
Yeah, this is not a work. This is real.
Yeah.
What was the reaction to the video, and what was your reaction to the reaction?
Yeah. So like I told you, I had 22 subscribers when I dropped that video. 22. I've been making YouTube content for 7 days. I had 4 live streams under my belt and 1 kind of repurposed video. And that's it. I dropped this video and then I went to sleep because I dropped it at like night. Like as soon as I finished editing it, I was like, boom, upload. I went to sleep and I woke up and it was at 300 views. And I was tweaking, bro. Because you got to think, the video before that, I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was like innovative content of like something like, oh man, this is some shit people never seen. I'm just, I'm like, okay, this is Eddie Bravo and a promotion ceremony. He is who he is. We are who we are. 10th Planet. It'll do all right. It'll probably get 1,000 views in its lifetime. Not bad. So that's kind of like, that's my only bar. That's the only video I had, So I'm like, all right, it did way better than that one in one night. Like I went to sleep and woke up and it was at like 300 something views. I was like, what? I was tripping, bro. I was like, I only have 22 subscribers. Who the fuck are these 300 people? Who are these people? You know what I mean? Like, what is this? And little did I know, bro. Little did I fucking know. As the day went on, every hour, it just got more crazy. Like it was like, oh, 1,000 views. I was like, what? It was at 2.7 thousand. I was like, what? 4,000 views the third hour. I was like, okay, something's going on here. 4,000 views? What in the is happening? Like, what? Like, I was tripping. Called my boy Kenny, Potlord. I'm like, are you seeing this? He's like, nigga, I'm watching it right now. It's going crazy. Like, he's watching my numbers before I even knew I had them numbers. And he's just like sitting back like, yep, I told you. I fucking told you. And bro, he was right. It went up every fucking hour. And by the end of the day, it was at like 9 or 10,000. The next day by the end of the next day, it was at like 20,000. And it was at 40, 50, 100, 200. And then eventually it was at like 500,000. Like right now, that video is at like 750,000 views or something like that. That first one that we did, which is crazy. But you know, it got out of hand, bro. Like when I go to any type of jiu-jitsu gatherings now, everybody knows who I am. Like, no question. Like if we go amongst the jiu-jitsu people, they're gonna know who I am, guaranteed. Like every jiu-jitsu gym I've been to, jiu-jitsu party, jiu-jitsu promotion, I see people at the store. I see jiu-jitsu guys at Ralph's. See him, man? Oh shit, dude! I see him at skate parks. I see him surfing. Like everywhere I go, bro, I'm just running into like people that have seen me. Like they know who the fuck I am. I'm like,
when you tell that story, I think I have footage of it, of us in Austin, our trip in Austin. And I was like,
oh yeah,
hey man, like you're a star. And you're like, no, like I don't want to hear that.
Oh, that was trippy. Oh, that was a trip. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. We were in Austin. We were like there for the eclipse, right? We're there for the eclipse. So, just for a little backstory, if anybody doesn't know, the eclipse is like a yearly annual event that we have that pretty much is just like a meeting of all the 10th planets, like all the top instructors and stuff kind of come in and we all learn the game from each other, like who's doing good in the business and who's doing bad and why is it working for him and why is it not working for him. Just trying to like business ourselves to the top. We're all trying to get rich here. We're all trying to have the best jiu-jitsu programs and we're all trying to like, competitively be the best. So that's pretty much what the eclipse is. And on top of it, we have a 5-on-5 quintet style tournament between all the top 10th planets. 10th Planet Austin hosted it. And we went there and it was fucking amazing. So the story that Plaster is talking about is when we were just randomly kind of, what was that, the first night? Was that the first night we went out?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there was like a 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or something like that. And
yeah, so we went out that first night.
Well,
and we were
just to set the stage, like at the event, I was like, dude, how many people said hi to you? How many people noticed you here?
Oh yeah.
And then you were like, man, that's just a jiu-jitsu crowd. Like,
yeah, like that's why, like I was saying earlier, it would be strange if I went into a jiu-jitsu room and they did not know who I was. I would be like, okay, something's going on here. Like even in times when people act like they don't know me, they do. Like they know who the fuck I am. Like I feel like a lot of the influencers at Austin, because there's a lot down there, were being very like kind of like competitively standoffish. Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. And I don't even, I'm like, whatever. I don't give a fuck because I'm not an influencer. At the end of the day, I'm not like a social media influencer. I just made a couple videos. I don't know shit. My bad. You know what I mean? But anyway, like I was saying, I'm like, I expect jiu-jitsu people to know who I am. I don't expect like non-jiu-jitsu people to know who I am. Like that would be very strange, And Plaster's like, oh yeah. No, people are gonna know you, bro. People are gonna know who you are. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up, bro. We're like walking around Texas, like no one's gonna know who I am. Like I really wouldn't give a fuck if they did either way. But it's just a trip to come from like total like anonymity and like no one gives a fuck about the air you breathe or whatever, to like thousands of people know who you are and will recognize you in the street, bro. Like, and that's what happened. We were at a bar, and you know what? I forgot about the chicks. There was 3 chicks. There was 3 chicks that were over in a corner, and we were trying to like plot on them. Me and Plaster were like, oh, how do we get up on these chicks right now? Like, what's the strategy? And Plaster's a very well-known photographer and videographer. So I'm like, you know what? They're taking pictures over there. They're like taking their little sexy pictures. Why don't we offer Plaster's photography skills? He's like, oh, that's good. That's a good angle. Let's do it. So we approached. We got a very cool kind of like, get out of our face response. Like, I don't even think they were like really responding. Really, they weren't even like saying shit. They were kind of ignoring us, huh?
Yeah. They wouldn't give us any time of day, man. We're just another couple of fools.
Yeah. I'm sure Austin's full of them, right? So they weren't trying to talk to us. We're like, whatever. And for some reason, like the girls right here in front of us, all three of them right here, boom, against this fence, like taking little, Instagram photos. And I look over and kind of like a little slightly across the room, I see this guy that looks like an R&B singer that I know named Jivion. And he looks exactly like Jivion. I mean, like spitting image. Like in my mind, I'm like, is that Jivion? Like, what the fuck is Jivion doing at a random ass bar in Austin right now? I'm like, is that Jivion? I got to go talk to this guy. So I go up to him and I'm telling I told Plaster, I'm like, bro, I think this is Jivion. I'm about to go talk to this motherfucker. Let me go see. I went up to him. I kid you not. As soon as I grabbed his attention, he went, boom. And the first thing I said to him was, bro, are you Jivion? And then he goes, are you Sandman? I was like, wait, hold the fuck up. Wait, what?
Flipped it. Uno reverse.
Uno reverse card in my ass, bro. I was like, hold the fuck up. How, like, from whether or not he was Jivion went right out of my mind. I was like, how the fuck does this nigga know who I am? Like, and it wasn't even like on some like, he was standing across the room, spotted me and thought, oh, maybe that's him. And then thought about it for a little while. And then it was like, yeah, that's probably him. No, it was like, boom. Oh, Sandman. I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, that was a trippy ass experience. Because again, jiu-jitsu guys, it makes sense. But some random dude at a bar, just random. And that's not even the end of the story. He goes, Sandman? He looks at the three chicks we were just trying to talk to. And he goes, babe, you're not going to believe who this is. And she looks over. And for the first time, she actually looks me in the eye. And she goes, Sandman? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, yo, what is happening right now, bro? And she was like, yeah, we watch all your videos. We were just at home watching your videos. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Trippy, dude. Didn't you end up getting the photographer girl's like number or something? Yeah. There we go. So, there we go. And we made some friends in Austin. I mean, me and you are actually both from Texas and know that Austin scene pretty well. But yeah, it was nice to go there and get a little like local love. You know what I mean? Like that I needed that. I didn't even realize I needed that.
Yeah, you didn't even know you had a community there that watched you. Turns out
Austin has changed a lot since I lived there. I mean, like a lot. Like there was no, I don't want to say zero, but there was not a real comedy scene when I was there. Not a real one.
Yeah,
like,
there was Cap City Comedy, and there was like Vulcan.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna say there was zero comedy.
It wasn't what
but
it is now.
Joe Rogan's not gonna come do a set in Austin. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's different. The motherfucker lives there. It's like Joe lives there. All these other comedians are like doing what they can to like compete with this mega presence of Joe Rogan. They're like doing Kill Tony, and they got the Comedy Mothership cracking off like crazy. They're like, they can't even do shows at the Mothership anymore. They're like renting out arenas and shit for their Kill Tony show. Like, damn, I never would have thought that. I never would have thought the jiu-jitsu scene, like that shit happened overnight. Like the jiu-jitsu scene happened overnight. When I was there, I trained with Matt Hughes. You know who Matt Hughes is? So I didn't learn jiu-jitsu. So basically I would go to this free what the fuck was that? What were we doing? Was it like yoga or something? Or Tai Chi or something? Anyway, this like old ass dude was teaching some like, ancient shit for like movement. But it was like at Matt Hughes' school called what the fuck was the name of that school? Cage something? The Cage, was it the Cage Rage or fuck, I can't remember the name of that goddamn school, but it was in South Austin. I'll never forget it. It was in like a little strip mall. I could literally like take you there, right? I could walk you right to the place. But anyway, I didn't get into jiu-jitsu and actual martial arts training yet because I needed a waiver and I was in foster care and they wouldn't sign it. So I couldn't actually learn how to fight properly. They thought it was going to make me more aggressive because I was already kind of crazy. Little did they know it would have done the opposite. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. I remember that was like the top of martial arts in Austin at the time. There wasn't anyone else. Like what? Like who the fuck else was in Austin? Like really for real teaching legit martial arts?
Not much, man.
Not much at all.
Yeah.
Bro. So the times are different. All you got to do is stand in fucking South Congress Bridge and just look at the city, and you can just see how different it is. It's like, bro.
Now you're known for your videos. What makes you want to continue to do that? Hell,
it's like honestly, it's like an obligation.
Sense of duty.
It's it's weird because like I said, when I first started it, I didn't know anything. I had no expectations. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. Like you'll see comments where people are like, oh, why did you talk to this guy that way? Or why did you say this? That was rude or whatever. And I'm like, dude, you have no idea what type of situation I was in. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't go into it all Mr. Positive and let me go spread the good news of jiu-jitsu. I went into it as a challenger. I was on some I saw like a Bradley Martin clip of him talking shit about jiu-jitsu or something. Like, it was one of those type of moves. And I was like, okay, let me go set up in front of Muscle Beach then. Since all you strong motherfuckers are so strong, fuck me up then. That was kind of how I went into it, a little aggressive. And when I say a sense of obligation that I have now, it's like, you don't realize, man, like that shit is bigger than you sometimes. Like there's hundreds, possibly thousands of children, little kids that watch my videos. There are thousands of children who watch my videos, bro. Like that's not something that you could take lightly. That's not something you can fuck around with. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, like that's a lot of responsibility, and it kind of scares me sometimes. So when I think about like why do I keep doing it, or like why do I keep doing it the same way I'm doing it, or why don't I do it this way instead of that way? And it's like, damn, bro, it kind of doesn't even belong to just me. It's like this is not just my thing. Like the viewers kind of own it too.
Yeah, so this thing is bigger than you.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's actually like I think that we aren't really living our life until we dedicate ourselves to something greater than ourselves. Look at Eddie Bravo. His goal was to make something, elevate the sport of MMA through jiu-jitsu. And
right,
it's always been,
and through that he blew his own shit up.
Yeah, it's always been in service to that higher value. So yeah, it makes us better too as people.
Yeah, bro. Well, I think so. I didn't really answer the full question there, but I think as far as like the tap out challenge, like, okay, everyone has their own opinions about what I should or shouldn't be doing, right? There are people who will tell you or tell me, have told me, yo, stop doing the same thing over and over again. Like, do something different. Do something different. I don't want to see that no more. Okay, that's good for you. But there's, again, hundreds and thousands of people who are like, I need this weekly. Can you upload more often? Can you do 2 a week? Please, I need these. Oh, please. There's jiu-jitsu guys who are like, oh, I'm injured and your content is like the only thing that I love watching your shit, man. My leg's broke and can you make more? I just wish you had more. You're like, okay, that video may have got 40,000 views, which is very low, right? But there are people who fucking need it. Like it's crazy to think of, like just imagine watching a show. You're watching a TV show. It's got 8 seasons, right? That's going to be very divisive to some people. Some people are going to tell you 8 seasons of Game of Thrones is way too fucking much. Y'all stretched it way on too long, and that's why it's shitty at the end. You fucking blew it, right? And then some people will say, why didn't you do more? Why didn't you make 20 seasons? What the fuck? You know, so it's like, how do you know? You got to find that perfect balance of like, I'm not oversaturating myself or my content, but also like I'm giving people what they want. You know, it's like, damn. You know, like they want to see me get tapped out. And so I kind of have a responsibility to facilitate the opportunity for it to happen. Where it's like, all right, bro, you already opened the floodgates and went down this rabbit hole of like, can someone tap you out? If they can, they get money. Okay. No one's done it. It's been 10 videos. That's 5 matches a piece, give or take. Some videos I do more. Like the Oceanside one, man, I must have had like 10 rolls or something in that.
Dude,
shit,
that was
bro.
a lot, man. That was cool.
It was a lot.
There's a lot of different types of people too. Like you go against groups.
Yeah, I went against a group of Marines,
Yeah.
dude. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that was mostly that video could have done way better, but it is what it is. You know, shit happens, we learn from it. Yeah. But you know, I think it's gotta get like the only way that I can feel comfortable about stopping the tap out challenge is if somebody fucks me up. Like tap me out for real, like legitimately, and take the money. And then, you know, okay. Then I'll feel like my work is done there. It's like, all right, they got me. But it's like, until then, bro, I kind of have to, even if I don't want to. Like I tell everybody around me at the gym or anybody that knows me personally and feels comfortable enough to reach out to me. Because sometimes it surprises me, even like creators that were creating before I started making shit, they'll reach out to me and say, yo, can you look at my content? Can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? Can you like give me some advice, some pointers, like what's going on? Like, how come my shit didn't blow up or whatever? And to them, I would say, to those people, I would say, trust in your ideas, right? Trust in your ideas and execute them. Like, execute them. There's really only two problems. There's only 2 different scenarios that you can be in as a creative that's not making it. You're either too focused on what people are going to think about the content, or like, you know, because if you start an idea based on how do I get views, it's probably not gonna succeed. So you can have everything else around it perfect. You're like, oh, I'm doing all my promotions right. I'm doing the SEO right. I'm doing my screenshots. I mean my thumbnails and my titles right. How come it's not working? What's going on? Because your idea is not coming from you. It's coming from what do you think other people would like. So that's the number one thing I would say is make sure you have something to even make a video about. Like if you don't have a concept and you're just like fishing for shit, content creation is probably not for you, right? Okay. Or if you're so good at the other things around it, maybe you should help someone else make content. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's your true calling. I don't know. But the other thing is, let's say you're one of those creators that has a bunch of ideas, but you keep putting them off, right? Those guys right there are probably the overwhelming majority of what we have, right? It's like a bunch of guys that have a bunch of ideas and they think, man, this would be a good idea. And they just can't get it off the ground for some reason. To those guys, I would say, trust your fucking ideas, trust in yourself, and like, don't be afraid to fail a bunch of times before it works. You know what I'm saying? Because I think guys like that will try once or half-ass try something, and then when it doesn't work, they're like, I knew that wasn't gonna work, and then they kind of backpedal out and they're just like, I'll go back to what I was doing over here. It's like, no, trust that shit, because the ideas are the most important part. Like, just keep pumping those shits out. Like, go full Mr. Beast on them. Like, if you got ideas, keep pumping them bitches out, man. Like, keep going, you know?
Yeah, I say, you know, I'd say all the content creators that I meet, I say, like, what's the lowest hanging fruit? that you can go and get, that you can go and execute on, that gives you an immediate good in return. You know, like there's something out there, even if it's flipping on your phone and doing a message to your people, just talking. It doesn't matter how complex it is or how simple it is, how long it is. Just as long as it's a low-hanging fruit that you can get a little tiny win from, do that. And then with every single video, just add one little thing that you learned. You know, oh, I'm going to go learn a title. I'm going to go learn this or that. Add that into your repertoire. And then the next step is to be consistent. You know, do it every week or every day at the same time. You do that. And then, you know, you can pull in people in the community. So if you have friends, like, get your friends involved. It's always fun to share ideas and to say, okay, hey, we're going to go do this right now. Like, whatever we put out in the next hour, that's what's going out, you know?
Yep. And you know, another thing too, this comes back down to that first video I was talking about, the one that inspired me, the guy sitting on 6th Street doing the comedy, right? That right there is that's everything. That one video should tell you everything you need to know about idea generation, right? Because that guy is doing pretty much nothing. You're like, what the fuck is he even doing? He's sitting in a chair and he's telling other people to tell jokes for his YouTube channel. Now, the thing is you're not going to run into like any groundbreaking jokes like that. You're not going to run into algorithm cracking jokes that way. These people are not professional comedians. So how in the fuck is he doing numbers like that? It all comes down to human relationships, human understanding. Like, look at the things that you watch. Like, you watch certain videos longer than other videos because of how people respond to them, right? There's a guy playing piano. Right? You don't watch that. I don't give a fuck. There's Beethoven. There's Mozart. I don't give a fuck how good you can play the piano. Who cares? But there's a guy playing piano and it surprises everyone at the airport, right? And they weren't expecting him to play that good. And now you see people looking over shocked like, whoa, what's going on here? And you're not watching the video because he's good at piano. You're watching the video because of how he affected those people. See what I'm saying? And that's why people watch my videos, because I'm interacting with randoms. You know, if I did it at the gym, like William Tackett just put out a short series of my $200 to tap me out challenge on his YouTube, William Tackett. And it's not doing very well numbers wise. And the reason why is because he's just at his gym. And you would think it would be better because they're more high level. They're like, oh, there's a purple belt. Oh, here's a brown belt. Oh, here's a black belt. And he's got like 4,000 views. You're like, damn, why doesn't that have views? Because no one can relate to those people that you're rolling with. You know, those are all like trained veterans of the game. Like and the people watching are not. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're randoms on the street. They click my video because they want to know how they would do. Like, they want to put themselves in their own shoes. So when they get in the comments and they're like, I probably wouldn't be able to get you, but I would definitely love to try. Exactly. Do something people can relate to. That's all. I'll leave it at that. Do something that people can connect to and relate to. That's it.
I'd say for anyone watching, if you want to do what Charles is doing in your own way, if you want to do basket weaving, whatever, it doesn't matter, hit us up. I'd say, like, look, we want to see other people succeed, and really the only way we're going to succeed is by having a community of people creating content that are working together and bringing each other up. We got Brandon McCaffrey doing PGF. That wouldn't exist without, you know, the community building into that, you know, because one idea leads to another. So
definitely
hit us up.
Definitely hit up Plaster. Plaster responds to everything.
Like, collaboration is my heart and soul. So,
yeah. But I got that creative tendency to ignore and procrastinate. So
we're building on that, bud.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Cool, man.
If you have the same issue, just know you're not alone.
It happens to everyone. Cool, man. Well, that was over an hour there, and I'm gonna go cut this up.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm I'm gonna go cut this up.
Hell yeah, brother. So thanks for having me on, man.
Pleasure, man. I'm happy we could do this. It was a good start to your day, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I needed this.
Awesome.
I needed this.
We can do this anytime.
Okay.
We can just shoot the shit and talk and use the best mode.
Well, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Cool, man. Boa.
Boha.
I'll see you tonight, right?
Yes, sir. Gonna be class?
Yeah, man. I'll see you.
All right, man. See you there.
Peace, man. Bye.
Peace.